Hi, crafty friends. Let's make a spooky Halloween craft. So I'm using this little skull hanging thingamabopper from the Dollar Tree. And I didn't know that it came with the hands. I was like, oh, we're going to use those for another project. So what I did was I cut the skull in half. It's super easy to use with the box cutter. You probably could even use an X-Acto knife because it's hollow. So because what we're going to do is that piece of wood, we're going to adhere that down, just the front part of it. I want this to look like it's coming out of we're going to use the tray kind of as a background and then the wood piece on top of that. So I used the little Jenga blocks on the inside so I'd have more to adhere to when I put it on the piece of wood. And so then I was like, okay, I want like to have layers over the top of this for even more of a spooky effect. I'm normally not a spooky kind of Halloween girl, but I was like, this was like begging for it when I saw it in the store. I was like, oh yeah. But I also wanted to add a little bit more dimension onto this tray. So I'm just using some of the beads, just like the toy beads from the Dollar Tree. Because what I'm going to end up doing is I'm going to just grab some tissue paper and I'm just going to crumble it all up. And then we will use some Mod Podge and start putting that down over the top. You can see this is green, tealish kind of color, sea foam maybe I should say. Don't worry about the color because we're going to end up spray painting everything, so everything will cover. But I kind of put the first coat of everything on and then I let it dry a little bit and then went back and put another coat of the Mod Podge on. And then what I'm doing here is kind of how this little piece of wood, there's kind of that top tier to it, so that's where I'm using my sanding block because I want that back part not to have that on it. So I did that, and then this is that kind of kind of mesh looking stuff that was on the skull to begin with. So now that I still have wet Mod Podge, so I'm just kind of pressing it down in there, and then I will cut all the excess off. And then we're just going to hot glue everything down, and then we're going to just spray paint this. You could probably chalk paint it, honestly, but I figured spray paint would be a whole lot faster. A whole lot faster. Plus, it's nice weather today, so yay, it'll dry up really fast. So got that on there and then took it outside, like I said, and we're going to just use some black and spray paint, go over everything, and then let that dry. And then once that is completely dry, actually put 2 coats on it, we are going to use some rub and buff, and we are going to, look at that. It's so crazy looking. But again, I wanted it to look like it was like popping out of the tray. So we're just going to kind of hit some highlighted areas and then really go over where the skull is. And then I also put a glove on and just kind of rubbed it over so we could get some of the, the different layered looks. Words are hard again today. Oh my goodness. But I, again, just used as much as I wanted to in some areas, other areas not so much. So once I got all of the rub and buff on the way I wanted it to, then I also took some of the distressing spray and added that over the top. And look how stinking cool this is. Oh, I love it. All right, friends, thanks so much for watching. And don't forget to follow the page for more crafts.